I'm so tired of all these big companies just like fucking us over every possible way they can just to get a slightly fatter bottom line. Late stage capitalism and all that jazz. Yep. We are sitting on the brink. We are at the precipice, the tipping point. We are about to fall in. Ow. Well, that's the thing is like capitalism is based on continual growth, exponential growth. And the thing is that cannot happen indefinitely. There comes a point where the system can no longer sustain itself. And I feel like that's where we're at is, I mean, look at our incomes versus our living expenses now versus 40 years ago. The balance between the two. It's way out of whack right now. That's how people were saying we need to be paid a living wage. And of course, the just short-sighted, greedy idiots were like, "Oh no, we can't do that. We'd have to raise all our prices to compensate." Fuck you, Walmart. You would not. At most, you might need to raise them by 2 cents. I think we can cope with an extra 2 cents if we're getting enough money to live. Well, that's not by accident. I definitely chose that intentionally. We basically picked the sort of best spot in town where all the buses converge, so we can get a bus to anywhere we need to go by just walking a few feet. So keep that infinite ceiling to raise. Well, yeah. New generation is new wage slaves, new workers. And a lot aren't having kids, which means less workers, and thus the system cannot sustain itself. And that's the fallacy, is it isn't an infinite ceiling. There comes a point where you know you basically have to either roll it back and reduce the price of everything, or I don't know, just like some really cataclysmic change that will negatively impact your bottom line for a while things balance out, and they won't do it. No, gotta please the shareholders. Yeah. Yeah, we need more for more production and profitable units sold. Yeah. Um, so that's not going to happen. Waiting for the corporations to stop being greedy, that's not going to happen because that's not how the system works. It's not even, I mean, it's not even about being greedy. It's about how the system works. It's about constant growth. And without that constant growth, you lose shareholders or whatever, and your business goes under. You either play the game or you get out. Um, yeah. So there is no doubt in my mind we are headed, and all the division, societal division, and hate that has come bubbling to the surface, and anger. I feel like we are headed at an ever increasing pace towards economic and societal, like total economic and societal collapse. We think that there was a depression a few years ago. No, that's nothing. Nothing compared to what it's going to be in a few years. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm at least, being a live streamer and a content creator, I'm at least a little bit isolated from that because I'm not like dependent on being within that system. I operate slightly outside of that system. I am dependent on it in that I depend on you guys having enough of an income that you have some disposable cash you can throw my way, and that's how I make my living, or at least enough viewers having enough disposable cash to throw my way to keep me going. And that's all fine and dandy. But so I'm at least partly isolated from that, but not entirely. So I mean, look what happened during the pandemic. I took a big hit on my income because everybody else took a big hit on their income. So yeah. So what'll end up happening, I think, is what we've seen happen in other countries where the dollar becomes so devalued that prices just skyrocket. Um, so just as a ridiculous example, $100 for a loaf of bread, but $100 in that world is not the same as what $100 is here. It's essentially the equivalent of like $3, because the dollar has just lost all its value. It's garbage now. It's like the fucking peso, you know. So in a way, we're all dependent on it, and that's the problem. Is it's the system is so firmly entrenched that, I mean, essentially it's at the point where it's like the only thing that's going to fix it is if the whole thing just comes crashing down and set it on fire and build something new out of the ashes. But it's going to happen. That'll happen. And then just the same goddamn system will be built again out of the ashes and start the whole damn thing over again. Because humanity is greedy. We are being destroyed by our own greed. So, if you kid yourself in thinking that things are going to change after the big collapse, it's not. Because it's collapsed before. Something even worse, the more oil superpower countries move away from the US dollar to the Chinese yen, the more all that international money is brought back to us. And the US printed more money the last 4 years than all previous years. Yeah. See, that is not good. If they're just printing more money, that actually makes it less valuable, you know? Um that's it. There it is. It's already happening. So if everything goes shit with our international trading, the U.S. will have record-breaking inflation. Yes, and a worthless dollar, and things will be priced ridiculously to try to balance it out, and it's just going to get worse and worse. Where it will end up, I don't know. I think we're just going to end up back at the beginning of another cycle of capitalism. Hopefully with socialized healthcare and education for all. But other than that, I think it's going to be much the same. Everybody save your food stamps. You're going to need them. Hopefully.